Good morning, everyone. After a world war, there's always consequences. Mostly bad, but there can be some good ones sometimes. Like after the events of World War II, several multilateral organizations were established to maintain what something is impossible on planet Earth: world peace. Now, one of these organizations includes the illustrious United Nations. And since 1948, the UN has been dedicated to deploying 71 peacekeeping missions with over 2 million men and women serving under the flag of the UN in the fight towards global harmony. Now, being a bit of an international relations buff, many Google searches have left me also seeing the dark side of peace, with over 4,200 individuals having lost their lives during UN missions, and with over 15 million having died in World War II alone. Now, though I truly salute the heroism of these brave individuals, my speech isn't about this today. I'd like to talk about why it's this way. Why is our world so ununited? And why can't we just have that perfect world where all these major issues such as inequities, corruption, and wars, they just don't exist? Hello everyone, my name is Manuthi, Ranasinghe, and I'm a grade 7 student at Stewarttown Middle School in Halton Hills. And today I'm here to speak to you all about what that perfect world looks like, why it's currently unachievable, and how looking between the gray areas of a world that's impeccable and one that's horrendous can help us find the true answer to global solidarity. Now, let me begin by first saying that this perfect world, it has a name: a utopia. I first heard of the term in a geography and history class discussion on the characteristics of what a perfect world is. And this notion, a utopia, was first coined back in the 1500s by a man known as Thomas More in his book, Utopia. And basically, it is a philosophical society where the circumstances for its residents are perfect, or at least near perfect. It wouldn't have any major world issues either, like the ones that I mentioned before. Let me put it this way. In the movie Zootopia, the main character, Judy Hopps, describes Zootopia as a place where anyone can be anything, as if reality was only subject to your imagination. Now she saw it as a utopia, and that's basically what it is. Essentially, a utopia is a place where you'd never really want to change anything about it. Now, in addition to being rid of all these global major dilemmas, a utopia would also be rid of the small-scale complications. Now, in my eyes, having a world without all of those worldly problems would be spectacular. But I'm only in grade 7. I'll worry about things that might seem like nothing to someone else. Because while someone else on the other side of the world is trying to figure out the trajectory of a rocket launch, I'm here trying to make a comeback to a bully at school. And making that comeback may seem like a small moment to someone else, but it means a lot to me. I'm going to share with you all a personal experience that I've had several times. One that I wouldn't have if I lived in a utopia. As a student, my strengths lean towards academics, and I love sports, but I can't say that I'm exemplary in athletics. I've got to say, basketball and I don't exactly agree. In gym class, we do this drill where we have to run laps across the gym while dribbling the ball. Normally, my whole class, except me, is at the front of the gym, I'll say, and they are dribbling the ball at a steady pace, acting like it's nothing really. Now, I, on the other hand, am about a good solid 5 meters, or maybe even more, away, behind them all, with my hand fully extended, as I just try to keep this ball within reach. Now, I am trying incredibly hard to just keep it there so that it doesn't run off to the other side of the gym. And simultaneously, I'm trying incredibly hard not to act embarrassed with my skills. And yet, it's good. I can't help but wonder, what if they're all judging me on the inside? Oh, she's really bad at this. Glad I'm not her. Thing is, that's me. And whether I like it or not, this is how I play basketball. But do you think that's fair? To judge me because of one singular thing? They aren't thinking about how good I am at academics. They aren't thinking about what extracurriculars I take part in and may excel at. They wouldn't be thinking about how much I know about basketball, because playing a sport requires much more than just physique. They aren't thinking about how I struggle with my exertional asthma. And above all, they aren't thinking about who I am on the inside. So how can they question how I play basketball and think of me as a failure without judging any of my other inner qualities? I don't think that's fair. And it wouldn't happen if I lived in a utopia. Now, as my basketball journey has its many cons, so does the theoretical world of alternative societies. A dystopia. This, my wonderful audience, is the exact opposite of a utopia, because this is a society that is highly unjust and unstable. Sometimes the residents in it don't even receive enough information to know just how bad it is. And there are many books and movies that revolve around the concept of a dystopia as well. I've read one myself, The Unwanteds by Lucy McMahon. Now, the story is set in a place where everyone is prohibited to express creativity. I know, right? And at the age of 13, newly turned teens would be separated into 3 different groups. We have the wanteds, the necessaries, and the unwanteds. Now, the wanteds are those who are favored by society because they have obeyed all the laws and they have all the power because they have remained dull and insolvent. Now, the necessaries are those who, they do most of the work. They keep the land going, and everything they do is so that the wanteds thrive. The unwanteds, however, are those who have vivid imaginations, and because of that, they are sent to their death. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems pretty dystopian to me. Definitely not an ideal place to live in. And yet, nothing will touch base harder for any of us than understanding that our current sociological state is one much closer to that of a dystopia. And nowadays, people have such a negative view on society. Why? Because of how conflictive the world is. You turn on the news. What do you see? A catastrophe, a crisis, a conundrum. You'd be surprised how many words, starting with the letter C alone, describe this current calamity. And yet they all aim to just show how conflictive our world has really become. And there's much evidence that proves this as well. Statistics Canada has done a report stating that there has been a 50% increase since 2015 in violent criminal code violations. And other global concerns are rising as well. An estimate by the United Nations has shown that there has also been, they've also found that that by 2030, over 600 million people will be living in extreme poverty. Alongside that, in 2024, in Africa, a report has shown that there has been a 20% increase in the amount of the population experiencing extreme hunger. This affected over 307 million people, only to be rising in the near future. And alongside that, it's been shown that there has been a 40% increase in the amount of the population experiencing extreme poverty in unstable economies. Need I say more? And yet, the more optimistic side of society aims to show that they can use utopia, that we can use utopia as a guideline towards creating a world that's more just, stress-free, and equal for us all. Then, where does that leave us? What should we actually be doing? Well, a utopia and a dystopia both seem pretty extreme. A utopia strives for utter perfection. That's unrealistic. A dystopia strives for complete suffering. Now that's just miserable. So what's in the middle? What is a world that can be found in between both of those? One that's good for all of us. Well, Albert Einstein once said that we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. So, let's think differently. Let's look beyond, and let's look into the unknown and find that middle world for us all to enjoy and live in. Now, what would this look like? I'll put it this way. A world with nothing but conflict. That would be brutal. A world with everything except conflict. Now, that would be kind of dull, honestly. Because there'd be nothing to argue and debate about. No issues to try and resolve together. Only with some conflict can we really discover the beauty of figuring things out for ourselves and pushing ourselves towards innovation so that we can actually create peace amongst us. So, I'll say this. A utopia is all rainbows and sunshine and clear skies, while a dystopia is all gray clouds, thunder, and fog. But this middle world, the one in between, it would have all kinds of weather. Whether it's sunshine or thunder or lightning or rainbows or clouds or whatever. And you see, it might be complicated, but that's okay. Because it's wonderful with downsides. For instance, let's take my class this year, for example. There are many different kids with many different personalities. But when we're together at lunchtime, do you know what I see? I'll tell you what I don't see. I don't see kids frowning and arguing all the time. No. Then again, I also don't see kids sitting super straight and acting very prim. No. What I see is the best of them all. I see kids laughing and smiling and having fun, not thinking much about anything else, enjoying the moment. It doesn't really matter if the person beside you is the complete opposite. We're all human. And yes, there are occasional disputes, but that's okay, because that's what makes these kind of moments so worthwhile to take part in and enjoy. A balance is important. A balance between immaculate and atrocious. Having that balance can really help us understand that even institutions, corporations, and individuals should realize that even though nothing is perfect, it doesn't mean that nothing is amazing. Let me put it this way. If we go back to my basketball journey, my goal definitely is not to become an NBA star overnight. Oh no. It's just to get better at dribbling. I want to be more decent at the sport, not flawless. In the same way, I could write a PhD-level essay on something like jurisprudence, if that's a topic of my interest. But that still wouldn't mean that it would be perfect. It would still have something wrong with it. But in the same way, it's just like how our errors help shape our story. They help build the future, and they make room for change and for us to grow together. So, in a nutshell, striving but perfection isn't key. Living horrendously isn't either. It's finding the middle and having a balance and actually pushing ourselves towards a world where we can all enjoy ourselves. That's the truth here. We're not trying to be perfect. So, if you ever feel like the world is the exact opposite of what you want it to be, I implore you, remember that the imperfections of the earth are what make it so special. Try to make the world a better place. Not perfect, but better. This is a call for global